Grapevine Amateur Radio update starting now on Ham Radio 2.0. Hey guys, good afternoon. My name's Jason. I'm KC5HWB. If this is your first time here on this channel, please hit the subscribe button below on YouTube and hit the bell notification icon next to it so that you can be subscribed to all the videos we post and be notified when we post a new video for everything and anything that's new in amateur radio. I'll try not to get too long-winded today, okay? But suffice it to say, I'm going to be shutting down Grapevine Amateur Radio. I'm no longer going to do it. It's going to be... anybody who's been shopping on the site for the last few months has probably noticed that there's not as much out there as what there used to be. The inventories, I'm out of stock on a lot of things. I don't have as many things posted as I used to. So I started Grapevine Amateur Radio in 2014, I think it was. And I did it because I wanted to bring a lot of the Chinese radios to the area because no one was selling radios at the time. HRO has since moved into the area, and they don't sell a lot of the Chinese stuff anyway. But I was selling the TH, and any of you guys who have been watching my show for a while already know this, okay? So how this series got started was I was selling the TYT TH9800 on GrapevineAmateurRadio.com, and I kept getting the same question over and over and over again, same set of questions, same few questions over and over and over again about how do I program this, how do I do this, what menu does this, how come I've programmed my radio and it doesn't work, why, that kind of thing. So I created a video, put it up on YouTube. It was very ugly. I recorded it with my phone, turned my phone like this. I set my phone on the corner of the desk over there. It was ambient audio, no microphone. I took a Sharpie and wrote on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper my website and the menus, and I'd hold it in front of the camera because I didn't have any video editing software at the time. So it was very low-tech, very rudimentary, but it worked because I put it up there and I thought, well, I wasn't really thinking about getting hits on it through YouTube. I just thought when someone calls me or emails me and asks me these questions, I'll direct and say, here's the link to my YouTube video that shows you how to do all this. Go here and watch it. I was thinking that that's what I would use it for. Well, guess what? It exploded. There were all kinds of people coming in. I would go into it every week and I'd be like, where are all these people coming from? Like, it had 1,000 hits in the first week and people didn't know who I was. I didn't have a channel at the time. And it's still, in fact, I still get hits on that video. It's still out there. It's been out there for almost 4 years now. Well, a little bit over 4 years now. And it was August of 2014 when I put that up. So it was crazy the way that I did it. So I started thinking over the next few months, and I decided that I was like, well, I'm going to do a video series. So I started doing some poking around, and of course everyone has heard of Ham Nation. I watched a couple episodes on Ham Nation. Most of it's over my head. I did some searching on YouTube, and incidentally, I'm like 500 subscribers away from having more subscribers than Ham Nation now. Now, Ham Nation is not a YouTube show. Ham Nation is a Twit TV live stream. And then they repost their finished product on YouTube later, but they're not a YouTube show. They're not trying to get YouTube audiences. They're just putting it out there for people to rewatch. Okay? So it's not a fair comparison. But one of the shows I did find first off was Ham Radio Now with Gary Pierce, KN4AQ, and Gary and I have done a lot of stuff together since then. He's handed the show off to David Goldenberg since then. I forget David's call sign. It's a W call sign. WD0 something, I think. WA0. But I could look it up if I wanted to. But David's a nice dude. He's out in California. I've never met him in person, but I've traded some emails with him. He's a nice guy. He's doing a very great job with the show. But I have more subscribers than Ham Radio Now does now. Just barely. Just a few. But that's because there's a lot of people out there on YouTube that are looking for radio review type episodes, which is primarily what I do. My most popular episodes are my technician in general class that I recorded at the Hearst Amateur Radio Club, which the technician class is expired, but they're working on a new one. We'll get some updates to that and get a new episode posted soon. They're also working on an extra class, which hopefully I'll have up first part of 2019. I've already started to record a CW class. I'm going to be putting that up soon. So, new stuff like that. But the video series has really taken on a life of its own. And I finally had to make a decision to where, do I want to sell radios, which there's not much money in, and there's a lot of good places out there you can get radios. Main Trading Company is excellent. Associated Radio out of Kansas is excellent. Bridgecom Systems out of Kansas, they have some radios. They're not a full dealer, but they have some radios besides their own. Gigaparts is pretty good. Universal Radio is good. Buy 28 Radio Trader has a lot of off stuff that you can't find elsewhere. HRO has excellent deals during. We're about to come up to Black Friday next month. You're going to find some really killer Black Friday deals from HRO and MTC and all these other guys. So if I sell radios, I'm going to be doing the same thing these other guys doing, just on a much smaller scale. Okay? If I have a YouTube channel, it's a unique perspective of my own. Yes, there's other YouTube channels out there. Here's some YouTube channels you should start following right now. Ham Radio Concepts with Eric. He and I are going to do some collaboration videos together coming up. KD6 UDA Radio with Bob. We've talked about doing some collab videos. Bob, if you're watching this, let's get together on that. Ham Radio Now with David Goldenberg now, who's handed it off, who's taken over the reins from Gary Pierce. Still really good content on that show. There's another one out there called, there's a lot of them out there, actually. There's one called Signal Search that used to be out there. I haven't seen him post anything in a while. Hamradio.world. That's a fairly decent one. That's a family of ham radio operators. They do some pretty cool stuff. There's a lot more out there that I'm probably forgetting right now. A couple of them are just people's names. It's just, there's one called, Yoshani or whatever his name is. How do you say his name? Hoshnasi. 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 I don't know how to say this dude's name. Anyway, he's got about 40,000 subscribers out there, and that's probably the biggest ham radio channel I've ever seen. But even if you watch his channel and Eric's channel and Bob's channel and David's channel, Gary's old episodes, and Ham Nation, AmateurLogic.tv, they've got a lot of good episodes out there. I've got more subscribers than they do now also. But again, they're not a YouTube show. Okay, they're Eric, Ham Radio Concepts, Hosh Nasi, he's a YouTube show. KD6 UDA Radio Bob, he's a YouTube show. I'm a YouTube show. Ham Nation and AmateurLogic.tv are Twit TV shows, and they repost on YouTube. So there's a difference, because it's all a matter of how you approach it, how you attack it, how you SEO propagate your shows, whatnot. So anyway, I've been doing a lot of research on this in the last couple months. So even if you're watching one or two or three or all of the ham radio shows, they're not all the same. I have a unique perspective. No one else has my perspective. I don't have Gary's perspective. Gary doesn't have Bob's perspective. Bob doesn't have AmateurLogic.tv's perspective. None of us have Eric's perspective. None of us have Hosh Nasi's. I don't know how to say that. I got to email that dude. How do you pronounce your freaking name? But, you know, he probably says it in some of his videos. I've only watched a couple of his videos. He does a lot of Bail Fang videos. So, it's like saying, hey, Chicago PD and Law & Order, or the original Law & Order, and Law & Order SVU, and NYPD Blue, and these are all the same shows because they're all about New York police officers. No, not the same shows. Same theme, not the same show. Different characters, different timelines, different writers, different everything, okay? Different parts of fiction, okay? So, yes, we all have the same stuff for amateur radio on YouTube, but it's not the same stuff. It's the same theme of amateur radio, but my show is not going to be the same as Eric's shows, the same as Gary's shows, the same as David's shows, the same as Bob's shows, the same as the other Bob's shows, the same as George and Tommy's show, etc., 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 etc. My YouTube show has really grown with very little effort. Now, over the last few months, I've started doing a lot of research on how to grow a YouTube channel. So I've already started to put a lot more effort into growing the channel. But the first couple years, I really didn't even do anything except just post videos. And it kept growing. It's been steady. It's been a steady growth, slow and steady wins the race type growth since day one, okay? It's never dropped off and stopped and then kicked up again later. and it's never really spiked. It'll spike a little bit here and there, but then it'll drop down a little bit here and there. So it's really kind of a steady growth, kind of like this pattern right here. So having a YouTube show is unique. Selling the same radios as everybody else sells is not unique. And I had to come to a decision because it was taking up a lot of time to get up in the morning, sit down in front of the computer, see all the orders that have come in the website in the last 20 hours, because I did the same thing yesterday morning. Go through those orders, email everybody, print shipping labels, put all the packages together, take it to the post office, ship them, and then start on my daytime job, and then do the same thing tomorrow. And yes, I was making money. Some people say, well, but you're selling radios, so you make money. Why are you asking for donations on your show? Dude, there is hardly any markup on these radios. The only people making money in ham radio is the actual manufacturers. ICOM, Kenwood, Yaesu, Elenco, the Chinese dealers, the Chinese manufacturers, they're making money. The dealers, while some dealers are more successful than others, the dealers aren't getting rich by selling radios. They might be making a living. I won't say getting rich. They might be making a living by selling accessories, connectors, antennas, and different stuff like that. But there's very, very little markup in selling two-way radios. And since there's a lot of people out there selling the same stuff, people undercut everyone's prices because this is capitalism, which I'm a big fan of. But it's not worth my time anymore. I would rather build something unique, like a YouTube show, and excel in that rather than selling a few radios here and there and making a little bit of profit at the end of the year. Not enough to live on, not enough to quit my daytime job, not enough to be worth my time, quite frankly. So my time is worth something. Maybe a little, maybe a lot, I don't know. But the less time I can spend going through the website and packaging radios to ship out that I've sold, the more time I can spend on my YouTube channel, and quite frankly, I just enjoy it more. I've been kind of rehearsing this discussion in my head for the last 3 months, something like that, and it's one of those things where I've been hesitant back and forth on whether I don't know if I'm going to do it now or do it later. I need to do it. I probably should have done it already, but I really wanted to wait. But this seemed like a good opportunity to do it when this thing came out, because this thing was a hot seller on my website and several others last year on the original version. This thing was a hot seller. So I know that once I post the Open Spot 2 video, people are going to be like, hey, when are you going to start stocking them? Well, number one, I talked to the guys at Shark RF, and they said they didn't know if they were going to offer a reseller program on this device yet. Okay, so you may have not have any choice but to order from them anyway. They said they didn't know. They didn't say no, but they didn't say yes when I asked them about it. They're like, well, and what I said was, I emailed them and said, I'm very interested in getting one of these hotspots, your new hotspots. And he said, well, we don't know if we're going to offer a reseller program yet. I said, well, fine, but I want ones to put on my YouTube show. And he's like, oh, okay. And he sent me one. Boom. So really great customer service, really great guys out there. Thank you to ACOS and the guys in Estonia for all that you do, because this hotspot is among one of the favorites, or at least this one was, and I assume that one's going to be also. So that, a little bit longer than I had anticipated it to be, but that is the deal. I've got a lot of extra inventory in my climate-controlled storage building down the highway. I've got some stuff in the garage here. I'm going to be getting rid of a bunch of stuff. I'm going to be closing out everything, downsizing quite a bit. My wife is tired of me having so much equipment, so much inventory, and so I got to get rid of a bunch of stuff. So there'll be a lot of stuff up on the website, and honestly, I'm probably going to keep the website going and sell like my T-shirts and hats and merchandise from Ham Radio 2.0 on that website on GrapevineAmateurRadio.com. So if someone's interested in buying GrapevineAmateurRadio.com, shoot me an email. I'm good on QRZ. I might sell it for the right price, maybe. We'll see. But right now, I'm not really planning on doing. And after everything's gone, I mean, right now I'm not really planning on doing that. I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to sell Ham Radio 2.0 merchandise on it, etc., etc. But eventually, you won't see radios on that side anymore once I get rid of everything, because I'm going to focus all my time and energy into doing YouTube, because I think I enjoy it better, and I think it's a more unique perspective, and I got some really cool stuff that's coming up in 2019 for Ham Radio 2.0. I've been talking to a lot of manufacturers, a lot of different vendors, a lot of different guys that are out there and say, hey, I don't want to sell your stuff. I don't want to be another vendor. Why don't you let me promote your stuff? So, and that's what I want to do. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Sorry it was a little bit longer than I anticipated, but that is the skinny. Feel free to post your comments down in the YouTube post below. Subscribe to me on YouTube if you've never been here before. Sign up on my email list. Go to livefromthehamshack.tv or hamradio2.com. It's the same website. Scroll down past that first episode up at the top, and there's a red box down there where you can sign up for my email list. And you can keep up with all the shows that I'm doing, all the trips I'm taking to record Hamfests and all the other stuff. So, thanks a lot, 73, and we'll see you next week.